In this video, I'd like us to discuss some summary in bonding, structure, and the properties of matter. Now, before we discuss anything, I want us to understand what we mean by this word bonding. When you talk about bonds, we mean the attraction between two different or similar elements combined together. Now, different elements are joined together by different types of bonds. So first, I'd like us to understand metals and non-metallic elements. When you look at the periodic table, we have from group 1 up to group 18. Now, in basic high school chemistry, we only talk about group 1 up to group 8. Or rather, in this case, we'll be having, if it were high school chemistry, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, 6, 7, then 8. But the elements that are in between this bridge, we call them transition elements. Now, metallic elements are of this color, and as you can see, they range from group 1 with the exception of hydrogen up to group 3 with the exception of boron, but we begin from aluminium to the last one here. Now, non-metallic elements are normally starting from group 3, or rather group 13 in our case, up to group 18 where we have noble gases. So we understand the difference between metals and non-metals depending on the region in terms of periodic table, the group in the periodic table. Now, how do we know whether something is a metal or a non-metal? Now, there is some basic testing electrical conductivity scale whereby metallic elements conduct electricity, meaning in our case the bulb will light. So if we have a material to be tested and we have a battery and we have a bulb, the only way we can know that there is electrical conductivity is when we see the bulb lighting. So in such a case, we will say that metallic elements are referred to as elements that have delocalized electrons in the outermost energy level, and that is why they are able to conduct electricity. Non-metallic elements, the electrons are not delocalized, they are in fixed positions, therefore they are not able to conduct electricity. Now, let us look at some types of bonds between elements. We normally have only 3 types of bonds, and the first one is ionic bond. When you talk about ionic bond, the type of bond that exists in ions is between metal and non-metal. So in this case, we have an example of a male and a female. So if they are of metallic and non-metallic properties, the type of bond between the two is referred to as ionic bond. How about a covalent bond? Covalent bonds are formed specifically between non-metal and non-metal. So when we have a female and a female, they exhibit covalent bond because both of them are non-metals. Now, when you talk about metallic bond, it only exists in metals only. In this case, we have a male and a male. Assuming that both of them are metals, they will exhibit metallic bond property. Now, we have some mechanism of bonding. So ionic bond, the electrostatic force of attraction between positive metals and negative non-metallic ions. So when we have ionic bond, remember we said it is formed between a metal and a non-metal. A metal is normally positively charged, but a non-metal is normally negatively charged. So when we have the electrostatic force of attraction between those two types, we'll conclude that it is an ionic bond. Now, when you talk about covalent bond is always obtained when there is shared pair of electron, and we will see that one in our next video tutorial. Now, when you talk about metallic bond, finally, the electrostatic force of attraction between positive metal ions and delocalized electrons. Remember, we say that metallic bonds are only formed between metallic elements. So when we have metallic elements, they will exhibit metallic bond Now, that one brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you click on the subscribe button. Thank you.